Namaste. So the title of this teaching is Who Am I? Now that sounds like a really basic, simple question to ask somebody. But I want to show you that there's something far, far deeper than the human perception of self. So we're going to do something. We're going to do a little bit of self-inquiry. Self-inquiry is really simple. I've had to do this a lot, and this is partly what's helping me through the worst physical pain that a human being can possibly go through. I'm giving you this teaching as part of the tutorials of how to handle severe, dire catalysts that you may or may not be going through, or you may or may not go through in your future. These tips and tricks and techniques, these coping strategies that I'm giving you on this channel are for everybody. Whether you're going through an emotional catalyst, whether you're going through a mental health catalyst, whether you're going through a physical health catalyst, as I am now, it matters not. These techniques will help you regardless. And even if you're not going through any life catalyst, this will prep you for the future, for when ultimately we are all going to go through at some point in our lives either some kind of a mental health catalyst or a physical breakdown, a dis-ease. It's going to happen to the best of us, even the most healthy of you out there. It's just part of the human condition. And ultimately we all get sick and we all die, right? But death is one of the illusions. I've done videos on this. This video is about self-inquiry. Who are you? When I ask this question, who are you? What comes to mind? Who are you? A lot of people would say, I'm a lawyer, or I'm a doctor, I'm a mechanic, I'm a chef. I used to say I'm a chef and I'm a qualified mechanic. This was years ago, before my major awakening. When I was still asleep, when I was still unconscious, I used to say, this is my name, and I'm this age, and I am a chef and a qualified mechanic. And then if people want to go probe deeper, I would say I'm really into outdoor activities. I'm really into walking. I'm really into martial arts at one point. Had a real interest in martial arts. But is that who you are? Then you can go into, well, you've got a number, you've got a national insurance number, but is that who you are? You could say I'm male or female, I'm a man or a woman, or some gender in between. Pick one of the many genders that there are now on the menu, on the gender menu. Is that who you are? You could say I'm a Christian, I'm a Hindu, but is that who you are? We're getting deeper now, but is that truly who you are? Then you could say I'm a father, or I'm a mother, and I'm also the daughter or the son of X, Y, or Z person. Is that who you are? When we get to the real depth of this, we need to start exploring a little bit further. So we've been doing these thought experiment classes. We've been doing these tutorials where we're becoming the observer self. When you can become the observer of your human self, when you can become the observer of your thoughts, then are you your thoughts? And the answer has got to be a resounding no. When you can become the observer of your health conditions, your diseases, are you the physical body who's going through that pain? If you can be the observer of that body going through the physical pain, the answer is no. But then you can go deeper. Fairly recently, a few years ago, I became the observer or the awareness of the observer. During deep meditation, I became the observer of the one who was observing the human self and the thoughts. Then I thought, hang on a second. How far, how deep can we take this? This will lead you ultimately all the way back to your source self, your God self. The first observer would be classed as your soul self. The observer of the observer could be classed as your higher self. The observer of the observer of the observer would then be your individualized, well, I guess it would be your monad, the master oversoul. Eventually, this leads you all the way back to your God self. So you go up, so you go further up, so you become the observer. Then you realize that you can become the observer of that observer. If you are aware, if you have an awareness of the first observer self, then are you just that observer self? If you are aware of that observer self. Now think about this. How can you only be limited to being the observer self if you have an awareness outside of that observer self of the observer self? And then you can gain an awareness that you are observing the two states of observer selves. When you realize how this works, this is the fractal nature of your divine, eternal selves. This is the oneness of this creation, of the reality beyond the creation even. So there are different levels to this. You can track this all the way back to your higher self, to your soul self, your higher self, to your oversoul, to your master oversoul or the monad, to the individualized God self, to the universal God self, and back to the Godhead. Then you realize the illusion, the delusion and the illusion of all of this is that of separation, of duality, separation mindset and division. The ultimate truth is that you are a part of the Godhead projected out into manifest creation, having one of many, many, many human experiences. The ultimate truth is that not only are you separate from the Godhead, the ultimate truth is you have never ever left the Godhead, because every single part of this fractal nature of Source is an aspect of the Source. It's like the hologram analogy. We're literally in a hologram. It's a holographic, interactive matrix. It's the light grid matrix. Ultimately, when you track your roots back, you track yourself all the way back to the Godhead itself. You are the God that you were always looking for. You are the light that you were always searching for. It was always within you. The illusion is that we are separate. The illusion is that we're individualized, which makes us feel like we're separate, which makes us feel like we're different from one another. But when all of us track our energy back, our awareness, let's call it awareness. When you track your awareness back and back and back, we all ultimately go back to the Godhead. Then you realize that if we're being projected from the Godhead, then we never, ever were separated from God in the first place. Never. And the so-called fall was just a fall in vibration. We dropped our vibration. We stepped ourselves down like a transformer. Can step current up. We stepped ourselves down time and time and time again to get down to the third density level. And now we're raising our vibration. We're raising our frequency to head our way. We've done all the descent. We've descended as much as we desired to. And now it's the time for ascension. Now is the time for the ascension cycle, for the creation cycle, for the expansion cycle to really take hold. And humanity has golden opportunity right now to evolve into the golden age that we always were supposed to be transmuting into. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed. You always were. We just change form within physical manifest reality. The ultimate truth is that you are a piece of the Source, a piece of the Godhead. We all are. The ultimate truth is that of unity, of oneness. The ultimate illusion is the darkness, and that of lack. I'm going to leave that there. I hope that helps. That's the teaching for today. Keep on shining bright like the stars that you are. And never forget who you truly are. Don't ever let this illusion get to you. Don't ever let this illusion get you down. Because everything that happens to you here, no matter how bad it feels, I promise you, when you get into the spirit realm, it's just like the blink of an eye. You're an eternal being. Even if it's 30, 40 years of what we will call suffering here, how much have you learned from that suffering? That's for another teaching. So the purpose of suffering. That's for another. And there is a purpose to suffering. It's been one of the greatest teaching aids that we've had in third density. And it is the teaching utility that we have in third density. In fourth density, we don't need this anymore. So we need to start now realizing from the time of this ascension forward that we don't need to incarnate. We don't need suffering during the incarnation to learn anymore. We've learned all that we need to learn through suffering now. In fourth density, we're learning through the catalyst of love and understanding of love. Okay. Namaste.